Hello there. Thank you for joining us from wherever you are. We're coming to you live from our studios here in Kukumlimle. Our digital address GA0992539. Our leading stories this hour. A pact for peace. President Akufo-Addo and former President John Mahama, who both want to be president, signed documents to not incite and to restrain their followers from engaging in violence. As the millions of Ghanaians anticipate a peaceful process on Monday, we have highlights as OTUMFUO said to the second, adds his voice to the caution against violence. Also coming up, the Ballots Without Bullets campaign continued. Today, we sit with Small Arms Commission to examine the flow of illicit arms which are still in circulation in Ghana. Also coming up in this bulletin, queues form at transport stations as people ready to head home to vote. But with barely 72 hours to the elections, how do you feel? We'll take our microphones out for some answers. Heating up really well. We'll tell you what's going to happen as we head towards the election on Monday. The Pulse is brought to you by Digny Lou Affordable Safe Sanitation. I'm Gifty Andopia. This is the Pulse. Please be my guest. Of course, it's a season of press conferences as we head towards the election. The NDC and the MPP have been inundating our media space with press conferences, one of which is happening this afternoon. We'll take you live there right now.
Original recording, but I have a fake recording. This is trite legal learning in the law of evidence. The originator of a recording is the one who is presumed to have the original. And is
take
the
a
one
very quick break. We'll be right back. Just stay with us here on The Pulse. You're welcome back. This is still The Pulse with me, Gifty Andopia. Well, throughout the day, we've been telling you about police deployment that's been ongoing. It's not just the police, it is the Election Security Task Force, which includes much more than that. Well, the IGP says he is confident in their ability to deliver. Those were his parting words when he met with them today at the Independence Square where they were deployed. I put together this report. The Election Security Task Force, which is essentially made up of much more than just the police service, the immigration service, the fire service, the prison service, the Ghana police. They've all gathered here. Of course, we know that there's over 6,000 of them. I'm not quite sure if all 6,000 of them are being deployed here because these are those who are going to the regions. These are the officers who will be manning polling stations in the respective regions. They're being deployed today. So from here, they're going right into the regions where they will be stationed. What is happening right now, by the way, is an address to all of them before they go.
Wear face masks at all times and enforce the wearing of face masks. Responsible for queue management, ensure some social distance and proper mask wearing in the queue. Do not take part in the actual administration of the election. Checking voter ID card is not what? It's not our job. It's a job for which people? EC official. Now, 9, be alert while on duty. Do not use your mobile phone or electronic device for social media monitoring or any other purpose. That is somebody else's duty. If you on that day, until there's a need for you to use your phone for emergency calls, do not get closer to your phone. Know the contact of your immediate commander and call sign stroke contact numbers of patrol teams assigned to your area and alert them immediately you notice an unusual occurrence. For example, when a non-uniformed person or suspicious security personnel come to the polling station with what? With a weapon. Do not leave your duty point for any reason. If you must do so to attend to HH's call, inform your supervising officer first and then the presiding officer. Be courteous but firm to turn unauthorized people away from the center. People allowed access to the center are 1. EC officials in their what? Jackets. 2. Security personnel in uniform on what? Duty. 3. Candidates. Their photos must be on the ballot paper and their what? Spouses. People are credited by the Electoral Commission. The presiding officer can confirm said people. Refuse gifts or favors. It could make you appear biased, if not laced with poison.
These are rules as they go along. So they've been told not to be engaged in any electoral administrative work because that is actually essentially none of their business. They've actually been told not to go check in ID cards. Of course, that is not a part of their duties. Theirs is to provide security. They've been also urged not to use their mobile phones for social media monitoring except for emergency calls.
Aho! Aho! Yes, I can see you are in high morale. That is good. Today, we are making history. And the eyes of the world and the country at large are on us. Between now, the 7th, and after the elections, we have dedicated ourselves to protect Ghanaians and residents of Ghana, and more importantly, to protect the ballot. Therefore, I urge all of you to put in your best. All of us must be professional. We must put on the prescribed uniforms only. We must wear our armbands and make sure that we report for duty at the appropriate time. For your information, our brothers and sisters in the Ghana Armed Forces and operational teams of the Ghana Police Service have already been deployed in the field, so you go and meet them. We expect an incident-free election, but when any incident arises, make sure you report it to the appropriate authority. We are confident in you that you are going to deliver. When you go, please comport yourselves. The men, please zip your trousers. And I hope to see all of you back after the elections. Aho!
The number of men and women in uniform here today who are being deployed has not been specified to us. One after the other, they will all be getting onto these vehicles as they board to their destinations in the regions where they're expected to support their colleagues there. One thing that the police service has been emphatic about here is the need for professionalism. and to avoid the slightest semblance of bias. On Sunday, there will be another deployment. We'll be here to bring you the update and tell you more. But for now, we're seeing these men off to start the work. Gifty Andropia, Joy News, Independence Square, Accra.
So what happens next after this deployment? Director of Police Public Affairs, Sheila Abeye-Buckman, Superintendent, has been sharing the plan with us.
With the regional commands have already deployed them, so they have an idea of their polling stations or the electoral areas they are going to. When they arrive, they will be received. They will be escorted by armed officers. When they arrive, they will be received by the regional commands and be briefed again. You know that we spoke about briefing. Briefings will continue until, it's part of our duties. It's a part of our normal daily routine. So they will be received by the regional commands who would accommodate them or show them to the accommodations, the various commanders for the various teams, taken further to, if they are not, taken further to the communities or the villages where they would be deployed to also settle there. Hopefully by Sunday they should be in their electoral areas, and they would mingle with the community and the local police officers at the local areas to visit the polling stations, to be familiar, and they will know the presiding officers ahead of time. So these are polling station officers. They are going to support polling station duties. So hopefully by Tuesday their work would have been done. Should we go into runoff, strategy has already been made. But for the purpose of this parade, they are going for Monday polling station duties. We can even decide to change officers from polling station to polling station, depending on what situation we reach. Ration has already been given to us. They were given to us in our bank accounts. Only, was it last week or this week? So we have received our ration. Every police officer has received his ration or her ration.
What are we looking at?
It's 500 Ghana cedis.
For the day?
Period. Okay. So that's what it is. You know, we receive our salaries. The ration is just to support so that the morale will be high.
So as we keep the morale of our servicemen up high, remember we have 3 days to go for the 2020 presidential and parliamentary elections, which is just next week. Well, the campaigns have reached fever pitch, with the two main candidates making their final push this weekend before climaxing it on Sunday. Now, the two main candidates, DRAMANI MAHAMA and Nana Akufo-Addo, signed an agreement this morning to commit to peace before, during and after the elections. We have details of this ceremony for you. But first, we take you to town as the parties finalize their campaigns for the poll. Matilda Gavi has been to town to check out the mood.
Gradually, we count down to December 7, and here at the Nima market, the election fever is catching up with a lot of the traders here who are clad in their favorite political party attire this morning. I will be engaging them to find out what they make ahead of the polls on December 7. Are you expecting?
I'm waiting for good results. We are winning. The winning team.
Which one is the winning team?
Nana Akufo-Addo. We want the government of Nana Akufo-Addo. We don't want anything. We want Akufo-Addo to rule Ghana. That is what we want. So we are voting for #1. For me, I would say the free SHS. And for the health care that we are passing through, everything is free. I have 3 brothers, completed SHS, JSS. They are going to for free SHS. Look at me, my time and my sister, the way we struggle for this school fees, but now it's free. So we are having it free, and we thank God too. So we are voting for Nana to continue his work, his good work, and may God bless him.
One town, your mama was arranged. Your mama one town let to matter what buin. A jacket be your mama, your jay, where you jolly wa.
Today, John Mama is coming with Vim, and he is our leader. He is our everything. We surely know that John Mama will win one touch. That's why we are jubilating today. We are welcoming John Mama today. Even small children are saying number 2. She is our leader, our president 2020.
As you can see, I'm happy that we are winning this election. Surely, because the 2 is coming back to work for Ghana. Really.
But you've not gone to cast your ballot yet, and you're already jubilating.
I've seen it in Viction that John Mama have already taken the seat. Yes.
Too late, on the 8th, inshallah.
Because nya no eya de papa na oye owo Ghana fo ho adwempa esan say ye wo oman mu fie bebre obi ene ho no ma watumi a kire yen say bibi wo ho ye free education ye nim sa health insurance ye nim say people for na de baaye ena no me bebre omo no mama ye hu say bibi papa bi sa e wo ho nka ye nim enti no ma ya ma ye no ye ni so enti me expect say so no sa betena so be mu anka be me de ba.
So there you have it, the euphoria there. Some want for more, some want change in terms of the readiness for those who will be voting in this poll. Judith Awoche Ando stepped out to speak to some of them.
Yes, I've made my mind. For Ghana, there nobody is going to fight.
Of course, my mind is made up. I know who to vote for. It has been that any time they run up to elections, you see that political parties and followers will try to instigate and do things just to create a certain atmosphere. But with Ghana, I know that after the election there will be peace.
Oh yes, I believe by now everyone has his or her choice already. I believe it will be peaceful. I'm not tense because the country is now going forward, and so why should be Basa come into the country?
Yes, I'm very, very sure. I want to urge all Ghanaians to be calm. In fact, this election, by divine inspiration, is going to be the most peaceful election ever.
Oh yes, I'm certain who to vote to. It's a mixed feeling because already the nation is a bit tense up of what is happening, and then I strongly believe it will be peaceful.
All right, so some thoughts there. Well, for some prospective voters, they've already started making their way to their towns and villages in preparation for the day. Hannah Odame was out to speak to those who are traveling.
To the VIP station, the VVIP station, the Tamale station, and to the Neoplan station. The general observation is that vehicles are leaving to the various towns, cities, and constituencies with people who are going to vote. But some of the drivers who spoke to us said that last year or in previous years, the numbers that tricked in to go vote were more comparatively. And they think that a lot of people will rather decide to travel on Sunday evening and many more even on Monday dawn.
We have been seeing balloting, and people have traveling to vote and register and things. But this particular December 2020 election, people have not been coming. I feel it wonderful how people, like a Friday like this, Monday is a voting day. We have been shorting cars, and then people will be very stranded and things here. But as today, people are not traveling. People are not, well, maybe the parties have, hand cars for their voters to go to their village and vote.
Michelle movement says, I can't bear 4 days. It's a name Friday, particularly Nippon said and Kosa, but Omoko. But a free Chinako, Sukwasiarande, and Abahuni Padua, and Abako Tuaba.
We've been also speaking to some passengers.
About Monday, 4 years time, I never tell me about Traban. Kago Nabelodu or no plan station. Me friend Quaco. Mako Queseranajo, Madame Palmeland or Makocho.
So you just heard from Bieja. She is saying that there's not much activity here because a lot of people will go and vote on Sunday evening. Also yesterday, majority of them also left this station to go and vote.
I'm going to be, if I happen to wait for tomorrow or the next day, I think it's going to be too much hard pace of time. That is why I'm leaving today. Yeah, because I don't want to be in a rush. Even as for the look of things, you can see that even buses and other vehicles are not really available, meaning that most of them have left. So if you happen to delay, meaning that a time may come when you come here, you might not even get a car to your destination. So I think earlier the better. That is why I'm leaving by now.
And so that's it. It looks like on Sunday evening, we'll get more people traveling to different parts of the country to go cast their ballot.
I am wondering what you will be doing if you have to do the travel as well. But let me take you now to the signing of that peace agreement. The two men gave speeches before committing themselves to the pact to restrain their supporters from engaging in violence.
I expect to see all security personnel behave professionally, all those deployed for elections to be in uniform with visible name tags and service numbers. Let us strive to prevent the violence of the past, particularly as witnessed in early 2019 during the Awasu West Wogon by-elections, which till date has gone unsanctioned. The United States of America has set an example for us, where institutions of democracy have upheld the Constitution, despite severe verbal and legal assaults by a losing incumbent. Will our institutions perform the same in the face of a similar situation? Recent events under the current administration have given many anxious moments of doubt about this administration's ability to deliver a peaceful, violence-free election. The events of Ayawaso West Wogon are fresh in our minds. This administration's refusal to sanction persons involved in assaulting an honorable member of parliament and injuring scores of people remain one of the darkest days in our democratic history. Reckless remarks by leading members of the ruling party that the unfortunate events of Ayawaso West Wogon were just a dress rehearsal for the actual election do not inspire confidence for the delivery of a peaceful election. A subsequent intervention by the Peace Council led to the two leading parties, the National Democratic Congress and the New Patriotic Party, signing an agreement of 22 deliverables for the eradication of vigilantism. Of these 22 deliverables, 18 were dependent on government. As far as I'm aware, the government has failed to sign the agreement. The loss of 3 lives in the course of a regular voter registration exercise also gives cause for worry. The military siege of the Volta region and other locations during the registration exercise created an intimidatory atmosphere akin to a nation at war. But ladies and gentlemen, we are optimistic. In the face of similar doubts in the past, Ghanaians have risen to the occasion and delivered a peaceful, successful election. It is my prayer that despite our deepest fears, we shall be proved wrong, and Ghana will once again be proven to be the beacon of democracy in Africa. We've done it before, and we can do it again. Let us on Monday exorcise the ghost of Ayawaso West Wogon. My name is John Dramani Mahama, and I stand for peace. Let there be peace in Ghana. Let there be peace in Ghana before, during, and after the elections.
Both previous occasions, I've held to my part of the Peace Pact. And on this third occasion, as President of the Republic, I will do the same. I stand here as the representative of the New Patriotic Party, a political party founded on the strong belief that Ghana is best governed under a constitutional arrangement that guarantees multi-parties. We come from a long tradition that believes in disputes being settled by superior arguments and not by violence. It has been a long and tortuous journey that has brought this nation finally to this fourth republic. I would like to call upon the security agencies to be up and doing their work and making sure that the atmosphere in our country is one conducive to the conduct of a fair and transparent process. The strictures as to the consequences of IAS West Wigan may be an opportunity for all of us to look at issues. I myself do not want to use this platform to engage in controversy, but merely to state that whatever were acceptable recommendations of the Commission of Inquiry have been faithfully adhered to by the government. The best manifesto policies and promises will come to naught if there is no peace. You can assemble the sharpest brains and the greatest workaholics to run a government if there is no peace. Your promises remain promises, and you can even have a combination of the best policies, the brightest and most hardworking and incorruptible people to run the government if there is no peace. You cannot deliver on your promises. In the immediate matters that concern all of us, I would say we have conducted admirably the electoral process thus far. In the midst of a global pandemic, the Electoral Commission has compiled a credible voters' register, arguably the most credible in our history. The special voting process passed off peacefully, with all political parties happy with the process. We in the NPP want a credible election conducted in a peaceful and tranquil atmosphere. We're certain we have a track record that will make Ghanaians vote to renew our mandate. Just as it was in 2016, we want this victory to be sweet and incontestable. I've said that we believe in elections, and I'm happy to give my word that we shall accept the verdict of the people of Ghana. Above all, I pledge that the peace, unity, and safety of Ghana will be our primary consideration. May God bless us all in our homeland, Ghana.
As President Akufo-Addo there earlier, when they signed that peace pact, he and former President John Dramani Mahama. Well, security analysts and experts have expressed concern over the proliferation of arms in the country as elections draw closer. The National Commission on Small Arms embarked on the destruction of confiscated illegal weapons across the country. And I have Jones Bote Aple, the Executive Secretary of the Commission, right here in the studio with me. I'll be talking to him. Mr. Aple, you're welcome, by the way. But let's take a look at Love FM's Nanayao Jima's report, in which the Asantehene OTUMFUO State TUTU II is cautioning the youth against electoral violence. He's been sharing horrifying experiences of electoral violence in Sierra Leone and endorsed the Ballot Without Bullets campaign of the Small Arms and Light Weapons Commission with the goal of curbing the proliferation of arms this season.
Asantehene is cautioning the youth against being used by politicians to perpetrate electoral violence. He shared his experience in Sierra Leone, where he was invited to share a peace message. When I was taken through the streets of Sierra Leone, I noticed lots of amputees, holes made by bullets in many buildings. If you compare the place to this country, then we have to protect the peace. The Asantehene is worried about the proliferation of arms in the country. A research by the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Center revealed over 2.3 million small arms in the system. The Asantehene cites shooting incidents at Alaba and Ayeduase as dangers associated with proliferation of arms. He wants the public to report unauthorized holders of arms to law enforcers as part of securing peace in the country. Guns are for the security personnel, but now a lot of people have guns on them. If they should bring them out, there will be war. We know elections are held every 4 years, but each time it is about to happen, people try to disturb the process. Some send guns to the police station. What's the relevance of it? The politicians who benefit from the elections do not hold guns. Meanwhile, the Small Arms and Light Weapons Commission is hopeful its campaign, Ballots Not Bullets, will yield positive results in the coming elections. Jones Boatei Able is Executive Secretary of the Commission.
The approach that we are using, in addition to the normal town hall meetings and the debates that we hold, is to try and build a consensus of the elite that we will not under any circumstance resort to the use of violence or guns during these elections, because, as we all know, we have only one country to protect. And our objectives for this campaign is to ensure that at the end of these elections, Ghana remains the winner. We don't want a situation where people will introduce guns into our body politic.
From Kumasi for Joy News, Nana Ojima reporting.
Now, that's a campaign that has traveled far and wide and received a lot of mileage so far, all focused on making sure that the arms in circulation in society is reduced, if not completely, or are reduced, if not completely eliminated. Like I said, I have the Executive Secretary of the National Commission on Small Arms. Mr. Aple, you're welcome to the show. We have just 3 days to the elections. Let me take your assessment of the campaign so far.
Thank you very much, and thank you to your viewers. If I want to grade us for the campaign that we've done so far, I think I will be giving ourselves probably 95%. 5% because out of all the constituencies that we've been to, with the exception of Jirapa, all the candidates committed to gun-free, violence-free elections. Okay. And so, minus Jirapa.
Let's talk a little bit about Jirapa. What happened there?
Well, what happened was that the Catholic Church decided to take over the whole exercise and organize a town hall meeting and allow the political parties to, as it were, put out their messages, and there were questions and answers moments. And there were a little bit of political jabbing from the young NDC candidate who was the former MC, and I think that irritated the NPP candidate a bit. So there was a bit of misunderstanding there. So they couldn't come to the table to sign or, agree to any... Well, there was some level of persistence from the Catholic Church, the father, and then the Queen Mother who presided over the event. And so he later on mounted the stage to pledge. Okay. But it wasn't like the spontaneous response that we normally get from the parliamentary candidates. So I tell you what, in a place like Samankesi, Lower West Achim, the MPs demonstrated that brotherliness and that cordiality, to the extent that we normally have a plaque that we present to you, a gun with a twisted mouth. Which is the symbol that the United Nations uses in the United Nations General Assembly Hall. And what it means is that let the guns remain silent for development to go on. Well, we know, and that is the plaque we have adopted. To the extent that in Lower West Achin, it was the MPP candidate that presented the plaque to the MPP candidate. And
the NDC.
The MPP guy presented it to the NDC, and the NDC presented it to the MPP candidate.
Right.
So I didn't do it. In most places we have been, although you realize that maybe the issues that read their head, for which reason probably they were classified, most of them have been dealt with or doused.
Okay.
You really could not get the candidates to stand on the same platform to, as it were, engage.
It was a difficulty for you.
It was a difficulty to put them to. And it was a question that a lot of people kept asking me, why can't you bring them together? For me, the campaign is to try and build a consensus among the elite. That look, elections is about counting ballots and not counting people. And so if I can get you to commit to Ghanaians and to your constituents via the media, for me, I've achieved my objective.
Okay.
And we'll match your actions against the words that you're giving us.
We did a project for 2 weeks that we dubbed Safety for My Votes, where we asked communities to speak up about the concerns they had about security. What they did was that one theme that was running through was that there were so many armed robberies going on in our communities, and the people fear that these arms that are being used to commit the robberies are still in the hands of individuals who may be able to use it on the election day, especially in the hotspots. What do you say on the ballots?
What I can say, and if you listen to the IGP, is that they've declared every polling station.
They said they would approach every election, every polling station as a hotspot.
As a hotspot and as a security zone. And even our law prohibits the public display or discharge of your firearm under Section 5 of the Arms and Ammunition Act. It doesn't allow anybody to display or fire your firearms in public. And the polling station is a public place. I've appeared on a TV station, today, a sister TV station, and what I said was that I see a certain phenomenon, entertainers, celebrities, taking their weapons by their thighs, like the way we see the security
in Ghana.
In Ghana. And for me, I think it's something that...
I haven't really seen anything like that.
You haven't seen anything like that?
No. But that's something that's going on.
Well,
so what is the Commission's agenda or plan to deal with that? Because if you have seen it and it exists, then we probably will see that.
So first and foremost, public display and public discharge is against the law. That's a law enforcement function. That's police straight away. What are we trying to do? What we can do from the Commission's point of view in proliferation is to try and adopt one of the strategies in mopping up weapons. And there are various strategies. There are what we call the weapon buyback, where you give a cash amount that anybody who brings your weapon.
Is it working? I think I got my answer from your reaction. It looks like it's not working.
When we've tried it during the Yana, in Yendi, but sometimes and even in Boko, if the insecurity, the factors that causes the insecurity, they are still present. Sometimes you can offer somebody 1 million. If he knows he will die, he can't chop the 1 million. He won't bring his gun.
Okay.
And so that's one of the strategies. In the circumstances that you are talking about, the strategy that we can use, which is being discussed seriously, is the what we call the cordon and search, surprise. But that is intelligence-led and informant-driven.
Okay.
You must infiltrate that. That is being discussed at the highest level.
Okay.
But normally, even if you want to even use amnesty is where you say, look, bring your gun. I don't want to know how you got it. You know, in Ghana, even if you want to import a firearm like a pistol, you require the permit of the Ministry of Interior first.
Yeah.
They'll process
and if you don't do it, you've breached the law. But you say, bring it, we won't penalize you.
If you announce an amnesty, normally you get the law-abiding people. He's holding the pistol illegally or illicitly. He doesn't know how to go out. But the people who are holding the military-type weapons
and using it to cause,
which can challenge police, and they know these are not weapons that are civil categorized. for which if they bring, police will license for them. They won't come.
They won't come.
So the strategy in approaching that category, the armed robbers, the people who are holding the AK-47s, the G3, the MI-16s.
You can ask them to drop it off somewhere anonymously. Is that something we have tried before?
We haven't tried that before. We haven't tried that. We haven't tried that before. But would they? And one of the things about when the Côte d'Ivoire experienced the electoral dispute, and
recently,
the last one before Alassane Ouattara came.
Okay.
Then the Gbagbo, a lot of them came into Ghana.
So we hear.
And so, together with the National Security, we embarked upon some duty tour of our borders.
Okay.
One of the things we heard, which we are still, the law is still very difficult Ghana to review laws. What we are trying to do is the issue of informants. So some people saw weapons in a farm.
Okay.
And they reported it to the police that, look, I've seen 10 AK-47 or 3 AK-47s here.
So even
if you go and report to the police,
Yeah.
the police, first of all, is not too sure that what you are telling is true. So we treat you as a suspect.
So I was going to say, is it possible that these are people who have used it and just dumped it there and found a way of saying...
So that's it. So the police doesn't know.
But so the police will treat you as a
suspect. And you can't blame the police.
And that's a problem, right?
That's a problem.
It's making it difficult to deal with the proliferation of arms.
That makes the strategy you are suggesting. That, look, can't people drop? So if, for example, me, I'm a Thai, I drop my gun and you give the hand or you see it.
Yeah. No, you can designate and say the Small Arms Commission is giving you amnesty, but because we know that some of you are skeptical about showing up, put it at Jamestown, near this particular toilet. We'll come for it. And you designate it and maybe you get people to stand by and pick it up. I mean, I don't know. Well, it's something we can think about.
That's what I'm saying.
Let me take your thoughts on, we have 3 days.
It's a very useful suggestion that I don't want us to dismiss.
Okay, you can look into it later. But with 3 days and the work that you have done with the ballots without bullets initiative, what do you see?
What we see, I can assure you that we'll have a peaceful elections. First of all, we've done this ballots without bullets. We started it in 2012. We did it in 2016, and we are doing it in 2020. Just at 2016, 2021, because the UNDP got involved, and then the German government got involved, it's taking it to another level. Okay. And so that has become bigger. But anytime, this thing in 2016, when we activated all the guys in the peace architecture, the CSOs, Peace Council, Media Commission checking, intemperate language, etc. We recorded 0 gun-related election, in our election. So, I expect something like that. My worry is the guns that are in the system, what you've talked about.
Yeah.
How do we mop up the guns? The guns that are causing the law and order concerns for all of us. The ones that will not allow us to have peace in our communities. How can we collect it? That is the issue, but not the election. I know the election will be peaceful.
I'll take your final words. If there's anything I haven't asked you and you want to touch on it.
There isn't much. The only thing I can say in support of what the IGP said or what's on behalf of the Ministry of Interior Peace Council, we all thank Ghanaians for the peaceful way. Today, I was at a signing ceremony and I fly my flag. I was very proud as a Ghanaian. What I can say to the people who try and foment trouble is that, or the people who bring in the weapons illicitly, you don't know who next the weapon will kill. The armed robber who is holding the gun and attacking that VIP bus, your daughter could be in. And I'm saying this to all the macho men. Under Section 5 of the Arms and Ammunition Act, you are not allowed to display or fire your weapons or firearms in public. The polling station is a public place, it's a security zone. Don't carry your weapons there. If we have a weapon and it's for self-defense, keep it in your house, even if it is licensed. This is my message to Ghanaians.
Okay, I know I said that was the last one, actually, but just a quick one. Have we heard anything on the back of the arms that were seized earlier at the Ghana port, the Tema port?
I think the CID gave some.
Yeah,
response.
they said they were.
They said
they realized that they weren't. Yeah, they weren't. The guns that they thought they were, and that they were. What's it called? Gas pistols. Yes. I mean, did the commission get any briefing on this? I mean, the commission should know when
the CID boss himself is a member of the commission. Board.
So what information have you received?
The briefing he gave us is what he gave to the public. That these were gas pistols and they are not that harmful.
Well, gas pistols have security analysts have said.
Oh, they are harmful. Pepper spray,
and they're still we're told they're in the police custody. I'm sure that since the election is drowning every other conversation, we'll get back to that conversation.
Absolutely.
As soon as we can. Mr. Apple, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much.
Jones Apple there with the Small Arms Commission, and they've been embarking on this great idea, which has actually gained a lot of mileage. Ballots without bullets, and they've been trying to go around mopping up, people and saying if you have guns, well, bring it up. Hopefully, don't use it. Hopefully, we'll get some real concrete results as we go ahead 3 days into the election. Well, this is still the Pulse with me, Gifty, and Apia. We'll talk to you about the battleground, Accra, Greater Accra, and the Central Region. What is happening, what is going to happen. These are regions to watch, obviously. Let me take a very quick break. When we come back, we'll talk more about it.
Election headquarters coverage was brought to you by
Use more purchase of premium products via
And you're welcome back. Well, with just this weekend in between the 2020 elections, 2 regions have been earmarked by pundits as pivotal. With a combined voter strength of over 5 million, the Greater Accra and Central regions will potentially decide the election as the key swing regions following the division of the Western and Bono regions. Dr. John Osei Kwapong is a member of the IRIS Research Group who have undertaken research into the elections. And according to him, while the Greater Accra region is evenly split between the NDC and NPP, the Central region tilts slightly towards the NPP.
Greater Accra, based on the historical data, is really tight. I mean, it's almost split. Right, that if we combine the safe, likely, and lean for each of the 2 parties, is 12-12, with about it's almost split evenly with a number of toss-ups. If you look at Central, though, the picture looks slightly different based on the historical, in the sense that we see MPP with an edge in terms of how we did the classifications, but with a lot more constituencies that we were classifying as toss-ups. But I agree with Joseph that given the splits that occurred in the other regions that were part of the swing regions, which is Western and Bono-Ahafo, now the ones that are remaining truly pure and quote-unquote unadulterated is your Greater Accra and your Central. And those are going to be extremely pivotal.
A chairman of the National Democratic Congress, however, in the Greater Accra region, Dick Coker, believes that the NDC has righted the wrongs of 2016 and will flip the Greater Accra region back to the party. Divine Agohom is the chairman of the NPP in the Greater Accra region. He has promised that not only will his party win more seats in the region, but they will win the presidency.
Now to my senior colleague that I'm targeting a minimum of 24. He can keep his bullet to his chest. That's what we want. Let's see. We have just some 4 days to 7 December. He's quite an experienced politician. He won Greater Accra before. He's lost it, and I expect that he has experience enough to, read between the lines to see what's likely to happen. He knows it very well. As we speak now, he's talking about the situation at the coast, and I laugh. Is he trying to tell us that the situation during their time was better than what we are seeing now? I mean, were we getting the premise fuel during their time like we are getting it now? He's saying that we give the premise to MPP people. I think that the distribution structure of the premise is not premised on party lines.
Now, government is initiating actions to secure its share of fines paid by flight manufacturing companies in the Airbus bribery scandal. According to a deputy campaign coordinator of the NPP, Dr. Mustafa Hamid, government has already made contact with an international law firm to secure a share of the close to $4 billion fine paid for Ghana. Speaking at a news conference Friday morning, the NPP claimed the flag bearer of the NDC, who they allege is government official 1, as mentioned in court document, must therefore be rejected in the December election.
That today, in all the surveys that have been done by all the reputable research institutions, democratic organizations, etc., in our country, including the CDD, the Political Science Department of the University of Ghana, etc., none of those surveys show that corruption is uppermost in the minds of the Ghanaian people. And I'm sure many of you have seen the CDD surveys. Now, we want to remind the Ghanaian people and candidate Mahama that the reason corruption registered topmost in the minds of the Ghanaian people, the reason why it was a central issue in 2016, and the reason why it is not a central issue in 2020, is because it is not a palpable part of the governance structure and the governance system today. In other words, the point I'm making to you is that surveys show issues that are very
Dr. Mustafa Hamid there, he's also the Minister for Zongo Development, and has disclosed that corruption is no longer, as he puts it there, a big issue ahead of the elections because the current government, he says, has fought to public satisfaction.
We are happy about the information from government that the Akufo-Addo government has begun moves to get for Ghana a fair share of the world record fines levied in the Airbus corruption scandal, in which Ghana was one of the countries most impacted by the corrupt transaction, which spanned 6 years. Read my lips, 6 years. 3 of them under candidate Mahama as vice president, and 3 of them under him as president. Since the Airbus company was paid by the hard-earned money for what is rightly ours, and we will commend the president, Akufo-Addo, for pursuing our share of the $4 billion fine, which otherwise will go only to the 3 Western countries where the investigations took place. Government is aware that out of the 3.9 billion on fines imposed on Airbus, approximately $30 million relates to actions taken on the Ghana side. Government has since June this year been engaged with an international law firm with extensive experience in investigations and anti-corruption to see how they might best assist Ghana to repatriate its share of the fines.
A bit of a mix-up there. Dr. Mustafa Hamid talks about corruption first, and then he talks about the Airbus scandal, and it was the other way around. But the parliamentary candidate for the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Benjamin Sena Jameshi, is hoping to make inroads in the Keta constituency as he sets out to wrestle the parliamentary seat from the opposition party. Dr. Benjamin Sena Jameshi is hoping his message and commitment to providing jobs for the teeming youth, enhancing the human resource base of the constituency, among other things, would do him the magic. He asserted that the National Democratic Congress, which was dominant in the Keta constituency, has lost value since it has failed to harness the expected development. In his opinion, hence, the constituents are poised to vote for the NPP, which he says performed better. JoyNews' Volta regional correspondent Fred Kwame Asari had an encounter with him.
Keta is the hometown of the founder of the National Democratic Congress, the late President Jerry John Rawlings. Due to this, residents in the Keta constituency developed an affection for the NDC and had voted massively for the party since the inception of the Fourth Republic. The NDC had polled more than 85% of total votes in the last 7 general elections. Nonetheless, the New Patriotic Party parliamentary candidate for the area, Dr. Benjamin Sena Jameshi, believes his party stands a greater chance of winning the seat in the upcoming general elections.
My brother, this seat, yes, traditionally you may say that it belongs, or traditionally the seat belongs to the NDC, but not anymore. Not anymore. The people of Keta, the youth of Keta, has made a decision. Looking at the performance of the 2 political parties, or the performance of the former president and then the current president, and now the Dankwa before them, there is no comparison. You cannot compare. In fact, it's like comparing apples and oranges. No, this president has done well, and my people, the people of Keta constituency, has realized that there is only one political party and one president that can help them. That person is Nana and
Dr. Jameshi faces competition from the NDC's Kwame Jujoli Gakpe and Edem Ametepi, who is contesting on the ticket of the Convention People's Party. However, Dr. Jameshi believes he is the right man to lead Keta into the new era, where he would implement policies to eradicate poverty and unemployment. He has therefore started supporting some constituents in apprenticeship, farming, and entrepreneurship to show his commitment to delivering on his promises. I have been an apprentice for over a year and couldn't sign an agreement. Dr. Jameshi came to support me and my colleagues. He provided us with sewing machines. I was a supporter of the NDC. My parents still support NDC, but I am happy with what President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Jameshi are doing. So I will vote for him to represent us in Parliament to enable him to deliver his policies for us. Dr. Jameshi provides us with farm inputs and financial support. On some occasions, he paid for our electricity bills because we irrigation farmers use electricity on our farms. I am very happy with what he is doing. With a few days to the general elections, Dr. Jameshi has intensified his campaign activities to extend his message to every nook and cranny of the constituency. He has been organizing community gatherings to engage with the constituents, identify their problems, and put before them his vision for the constituency.
Oh, yes, as you said earlier on, if not because traditionally this place belongs to them, I will tell you that we will win over 58. But looking at the numbers, counting my numbers now, I can tell you confidently that I'm winning this seat, not less than 51%. I want to tell the people of Qatar, but it's a new era and it's a new day. Everywhere you are, join the winning team. We can change the narrative. We, as a people, can bring the development to Qatar. Qatar Harbor is on course. They keep saying that, well, we will not be able to do it, we can't do it. But we have started. So let them understand that there is only one political party that can develop Qatar prosperity, and that political party is the MPP, and being led by the president of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa. I will partner with him as Dr. Domeshi, lobby for projects into my area. So I am telling them, wherever you are, please join us. Let's take this seat now, and this is the time we can do it together.
Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News, Qatar.
Very soon, we'll know how it all goes. This is your election headquarters. Reverend Mary Gansa says it is, she considers it a great privilege as a country to be given the opportunity to elect our leader. Speaking in an interview with Fifi Folsom on Joy Time in his presence earlier today, she said, as citizens, Ghanaians should emulate Christ in all that we do.
Fifi, it's a great privilege because other countries they don't have this opportunity. But we are blessed that every 4 years we are given the opportunity to choose who we want. For me, it's a great privilege. It's not war. One thing that baffled me, Jesus said, "My peace I give to you, not as the world gives." He also said in Matthew 5:9 that blessed are the peacemakers, and we should put these two together. We don't receive the peace for nothing, and we cannot also receive the peace and ignore. One thing that baffled me was that, you know, Peter, when Jesus Christ was going to be arrested, you know that all this while Peter had a sword on him. Peter had a sword on him. Whilst the Savior was preaching peace, 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 Peter had a sword. And when he saw that Jesus Christ could not defend himself, he thought to do it his way. You know, he took the sword. But look at what Jesus did. He took the ear back and fixed it. He said, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God. This election, be a peacemaker. God is depending on you. We have received so much. He said, I give you my peace. I give you my peace. We have received it. We should go and exercise it. If we go and there's trouble, there's quarrel, misunderstanding between two, make the attempt. Don't conclude that if I should go there, I will not be listened to. Just go there. Make the attempt to separate, to calm them down. Get your fire extinguisher, your spiritual fire extinguisher, which is the word of God, and let them tone down.
Wow.
And there will be peace. This is not war. Go and express it. If you put your case out there and I agree, I will vote for you. It's not war. You can't compel me. But I'll listen to the two sides or the manifesto that which favors me. I'll put my thoughts up for the place. It's not war. Ghana has been and it will be forever. Yeah. We cannot be shattered. We cannot carry our things to the next country. No, it cannot be, because we want to please the gods of the land. It cannot be. Jesus Christ's blood, which was shed for us, is enough.
It's enough.
Peace. The blood of Jesus is crying peace. It's crying peace. And I speak peace to the political parties, and I speak peace to the young men. Sometimes you want to adventure, you want to try some other avenues. Sometimes you want to say, but what am I living for? You are given a lot of money. Well, that money can't even can't support you even a day or a month. You know, it can't. So think about your future, that God has an alternate plan plan for you. The one who says he has a plan for you will live today. Tomorrow is no more. Tomorrow is no more. So you must think about yourself and what God has in store for you. Because people know you are smart. Let God use you.
Come on.
Your smartness. Don't let human being use you for their own.
Election headquarters coverage was brought to you by
Use more purchase of premium products via.
And of course, this is your election headquarters. Now, scores of workers at a steel company at the Tema Free Zones Enclave are calling for the immediate shutdown of an adjoining company over what they describe as continuous pollution in disregard of EPA regulations. After several flouted orders from the EPA for the company in question, United Steel Company Limited, to shut down, they say they have petitioned the Ministry of Environment to immediately act on the matter. Unfortunately, we don't have that story to bring you right now. We'll bring you that story in our subsequent bulletins. But that's it for our stories today. We'll bring you more with Israel Lai on JoyNews Prime. Of course, we have Business Live for you. But after this, we have Let's Talk Showbiz, and that's how we wrap up the show. But we also have 30 minutes of sports for you. But you certainly want to keep your dials glued here. From Monday, we'll bring you the elections. I'm Gifty Andopia, and there is more news at myjoyonline.com, and I'll urge you to log on. Many thanks. Have a great weekend.